I know. Hey, let's bring right now George LeMieux. George is, of course, the senator from one of the two senators from Florida. Hey, George, do you still support offshore oil drilling in Florida? Do you, or do you oppose it now?
Well, my position on it has been it needs to be far enough and clean enough and safe enough. And what we're seeing now is that it's going to have to be pretty far off Florida's coast for me to ever support it again. And we're going to have to know what happened here and make sure it never happens again.
Have we, you know, I'm sure you know, you worked with David Stafford. Do you agree with David and others, even Republicans, that said we let too many industry insiders in to these federal bureaucracies and there wasn't a balance?
Well, I think it's a problem, and I think that this administration had a responsibility when it came in to look at all of the agencies of government and make sure that these folks were ready and capable, had a plan in case of a disaster. I mean, I ran a transition for a governor, as you know, Joe, down in Florida. And when you run a transition, you start off in the executive agency, the branch that runs the government. It's your responsibility to look under the hood, make sure everything's going to work the right way. You got the right people on the job. Senator,
and I agree with you, but obviously, though, they inherited this administration from the Bush administration. Do you think the Bush administration went too far the other way and let too many industry insiders come in and run these agencies?
Joe, that could be the case, but let's look at where we are today. It's a year and a half into this president's administration. He has been caught flat-footed at best with this situation. He's here in Washington, and he goes down every 10 days for a photo op. He's not down on the ground like Jeb Bush was during our 04 and 05 hurricanes, spending 12 hours at the Emergency Operations Center. I was there with him during those hurricanes.
I want to see him in charge. I said earlier today, George, that Jeb did a remarkable job in all the hurricanes. But technically, what else could this president do? And I agree with you. He needs to connect emotionally, and he's got to get the communication story right. But tell me, what could he have done other than what he's doing right now when it comes to plugging the hole specifically?
Well, I think there's two things. One is he needed to make sure he had the best and brightest and most competent people in all of these agencies to handle these problems and make sure these problems didn't happen from the first place. And look, he's the president of the United States. He owns it. You can't blame the prior administration for everything. This is the job he ran for and the people voted him into. The second thing is, we know now from a Mobile Register article that came out a couple weeks ago that there was a plan in the mid-90s from NOAA to have the in-situ burning ready to go. There was supposed to be fire-retardant boom ready to go so that in the first 24 hours they could go out there and start burning. Once the oil starts to disperse, it mixes with the water and you can't burn it. So where was that plan? Where was the booming? Why didn't that get activated? Those are a lot of questions that need to be answered. But what I want to see right now is I want to see my president not in a suit in Washington, D.C. I want to see him down on the Gulf Coast, not just for a day of photo shoot, but on the job, leading the effort. When he's not there, I want Joe Biden there, and I want him in Africa going to a soccer game. Let's show some leadership.
Okay, let's finally talk about the state of Florida. I've got a lot of people that actually are saying that I need to get the word out. I'm obviously from Northwest Florida, the area most affected by this, that the oil has not washed on shore yet, that Florida is still open for business. That is the case right now, but how long until the oil starts hitting Florida shores?
Well, right now the oil's not there, and you're exactly right, Joe. You need to come to the beaches of Northwest Florida, come to Destin, Pensacola, Seaside, take a vacation. Prices are down. It's the time to come and visit Florida, and we just got to keep working hard every day right now and get on top of this problem.
Hey, George, I'm sorry I cut you off several times, but we're short on time. Come back next week. We'll have more time to talk. But
I look forward to it.
We got something important coming up. Willie